Alright guys, in this part of our video we're going to focus on filling out two of our conditional statements. So if you remember correctly, our program has three main conditions: create, store, and check. So in this video we're going to focus on the store and check conditions. So now we're going to take a look at the requirements from our program description and then get started on that. Alright, so the two conditions we'll be tackling this time are store and check. And for our store condition, what we'll be doing is we'll be asking the user what the password is for, and then we'll be asking them what the actual password is, and finally we'll store the password along with what it is used for. And then in the second condition, our check condition, we'll be asking the user what the password that they'd like to check for is used for. So basically, what platform is the password you're looking for? So if I, for example, am looking for my Facebook password, I would type in Facebook. Or if I'm looking for my Netflix password, I would type in Netflix. And then after the user tells the program what the password is for, the program should check for that password. So I mentioned earlier that we need to decide how we're going to store our password. And what you'll see right here is that we have something that is very similar to a key value pair, because we have the platform and a matching password. And that is exactly what we have in the case of a dictionary, right? Because in dictionaries that we're used to, we have a word and then the word's meaning. So in this case, our word would be the platform, like Facebook, Netflix, Twitter, whatever. And then our meaning would be the password. So with this, we can decide to use a dictionary for our storage. Alright guys, so let's get started. So the only thing I've changed in this code from the last video is lines 1 through 4. So I've added a dictionary called user passwords, and you can see the key value pairs. In line 2, we have the key value pair of Facebook. So Facebook is our key, and Skyfort 345 is our value, right? So we have the platform, and then we have the password. We have the platform, and then we have the password, right? So these are our key value pairs, and that's what let you know we're using a dictionary. And again, the reason I chose to use a dictionary as our data collection type is because we're storing a platform and its password together in a similar way that a key and value pair are stored together in a dictionary. So that made a dictionary the perfect choice for what we're doing here. So the first thing I'm going to tackle is the store condition. Alright guys, so I've gone ahead and I've just typed up the code for that condition. So the code for the condition is as follows. In line 11, we create a variable called platform, because remember, the first thing that we have to ask them is what the password is for. So we need somewhere to store that. So we use the input function to ask them what the password is used for. And then the second thing we need is to store the actual password. So we create another variable called password, and then we ask them what is the password. And then in line 13, I just do a little print to show you what the dictionary looks like, because remember, the dictionary has all of our passwords in it. So I want to show you what the dictionary looks like before we store it, and then I'll store it in line 14. And then finally in line 15, I want to show you what the dictionary looks like after we store it. So I'm going to go ahead and test this program out. This is what your code should look like now. If you have any errors, double check everything, but this is what the code should look like at this point in time. Alright, so now I'm going to check the store feature of our program. So if you look in lines 1 through 5, we currently only have 3 passwords in our user passwords. So now let's see what happens when I hit run. So it's going to ask me what I want to do. I'm testing out store, so I'll simply type store. And it'll ask me what platform the password is for. And I'll add one that's not there, so I'll say Twitter. And then it asks me what is the password. And I'll say Bob3214. And when I hit enter, you can see that it prints the before. So the before only has Facebook, Google, and Reddit. but then the after has Facebook, Google, Reddit, and Twitter, and you can see my password Bob3214. So our store is working, and we were able to like add to our dictionary. So now we can move on to the check. Alright, so just before we dive into check, I'm going to put the code on the screen. You can hit pause right now if you'd like to take a look at the code, make sure you're matching. I only added lines 18 through 20, so hit pause and catch up. Alright, so the check functionality is much simpler than the store. All we're doing is asking the user for their password, like what it's used for, and then we check our dictionary for that password and we print it out. We're saying the password for whatever the platform is the password. So that's in line 20. We use the format method to put those two variables, platform and password, into our string and output it. If you're confused about how the format method works, it's a good idea to go check the output video on YouTube to clarify any confusion. So now let's test our check functionality. Now if you look in lines 1 through 5, we have passwords for Facebook, Google, and Reddit. So I'm going to use one of those passwords to see if our check functionality is working. I'll check for Reddit. Alright, so the functionality we're checking is check. So I'm going to type in check. And then it asks me what the password is used for. I'll type in Reddit. And if you look in line 4 in our code, it should say test123. So let me see what happens when I hit enter. And just like that, it outputs the password for Reddit is test123. I'm going to go ahead and try the same thing for Google. And it says the password for Google is whatever that is, right? So just like that, we've completed 2 of our functionalities, check and store. And the last one is the create. So let's hop into that.